welcome to our International Women's Day webinar. Um, we wanted to do this because um, not just today, we should be celebrating the fantastic work of the women within our network, but it's a good chance to do that this week because everybody is so busy running their businesses and doing amazing things. So I'm just so pleased to have you all here to share a bit about you and, just really get to know the people behind your businesses. So, just as a quick introduction to me for everyone that is here, hello and thank you for coming. We've had so many people register for this that we were kind of taken aback. So it's brilliant, and we are thrilled to be doing this and have you here. So I'm Katie Bullen. I'm the franchisor and CEO of Activ Marketing. My background is that I was working in corporate marketing. Then I left when I had my first of three babies back in 2013 and didn't want to do the travel anymore. I had a great time doing all that when I was young, free, and single. But there came a time when I couldn't do that anymore and didn't want to. So that was the time when I went freelance back in 2013, 2014. And, going from a business with so much going on and, a huge infrastructure and, people around you and departments to all of a sudden being just me on my own in my spare bedroom with a 9-month-old baby that I was trying to juggle, it was really hard. And at that point, I think I got pregnant again at some point during that blur. And I looked around and thought there must be a better way to be self-employed within marketing and run a business and be able to enjoy my family and also be able to do what I love, which is marketing. The clients were flowing in, and the more clients that came in, the more I was juggling and working in the evenings and all these kinds of things. So I started the hunt for a better way. And that's when I happened to come across Activ Marketing, which was originally set up in 2008 as a web design franchise. And it was nothing like it is today. We're kind of a long way ahead from where we were there. But I joined Activ as a franchise partner and I ran my business in the Cardiff territory for 6 years, servicing around 50 clients. I didn't employ anyone. I used the team within the franchise to support my business and to be able to deliver what I wanted to for clients. It filled the gaps that I didn't have, such as tech support and all of these things. But being a corporate marketer and being used to that kind of environment, I used the franchise differently to everyone else. And I saw the opportunity for it. I saw that it could be more. It could be that all-encompassing franchise to support generalist marketers, social media managers, all these kind of, professionals within the marketing space that want to be freelance, but don't want to be on their own, reach capacity really quickly, be stuck in situations where they've got no one to turn to. So in 2021, I bought out the Activ Marketing franchise across the UK and Ireland. And since then, along with my lovely team at head office, which Caitlin is part of now for the last 2 years, you've been with us nearly, we redeveloped it to be a full marketing agency franchise, which is a full marketing business in a box for self-employed marketers. You join, you get everything from systems, tools, delivery team if you want them, training, all the resources you need to hit the ground running from day one. And it's something that I wished existed when I started out. So to be running this business now and be working with amazing franchisees across the country, running their businesses under Activ, is just, it doesn't feel like work to me. It feels brilliant. So that's a kind of quick summary of me and Activ. As you can see on the kind of the background there, we're approved by the British Franchise Association. And for the first time this year, we've been listed in the Elite Franchise Top 100 franchises in the UK, which means we rank in the top 10% of franchises in the UK. So it's been a ride since 2021 when I took over. But yeah, it's really exciting times and I can't wait to get chatting with you all. So enough about me. That's just the intro. What we're going to do for the purpose of this hour is we are going to go around, introduce everyone properly when we come to their section, and then we'll have some time, hopefully at the end, if I leave enough time for some questions. So if anyone has got any questions for anyone in particular, or just in general that we can just open to the panel, just put them in the comments and then we'll go through them at the end. So we are going to start with Louise Eddy. Are you on unmute?
I
Yeah.
am. I'm
Hello, Lou.
unmuted. Morning.
Um, Morning. So Lou was the first franchise partner to join us when we launched the new consultant-led model, which is where you don't trade as a location, you are part of the brand. And so, yeah, Lou and I feel a very special connection with you, Lou, because we developed all of that together, didn't we? Over the last 2 years ago, we were chatting
Yeah.
and here we are today. So, yeah, so Lou, introduce yourself.
So I'm Lou Eddy. I'm based in Basingstoke. For those of you who don't know, it's North Hampshire. I run my own marketing consultancy as part of the franchisee network, as Katie alluded to. I've got 20 plus years. I am 50 next month in IT tech marketing. So I learned my trade, shall we say, in a very male-dominated environment. So I appreciate being part of the International Women's Week because I feel very strongly about it. So starting in corporate tech, I spent a lot, similar to Katie, a lot of time in airports and decided that actually I wanted to step away and do something a little bit more local. So 3 years ago, I stepped away from corporate IT and thought I could use my skill set to support local businesses. And also spend a little bit more time at home would also be quite good, and also do things that I actually enjoy doing, like cooking, not just because you're grabbing something on the go. Horse racing. What other things do I do now? Theatre, traveling on
You do
my
everything,
own.
Lou. You're always
Yeah, I know.
everywhere.
I'm always doing something. Yeah.
And the
But
festival, you've got to mention the festival.
oh
That's
yeah,
you.
and I'm also running a music festival in August. So more to come on that. The site should go live hopefully this week. But yeah,
Oh,
I shall share that.
yeah,
Yeah, a
fab.
bit of background on me, really.
Yeah. And I think for you, like, ever since you've been within the network and we've worked together, you have always got kind of you obviously use the framework and everything that's in there, but you're forever thinking of new ideas, and that's you, isn't it? Looking outside the box and thinking about how we can better support clients. And we've worked on some things together, haven't we, which have been great. Like
Yeah,
the
and I
retreat
think
and yeah.
yeah, I think maybe it's the biggest thing that you guys do is that you think you can do everything on your own, and that's what I did when I first started 3 years ago. And then within less than a year, I think I met you about 8 months into doing it myself. It's not showing
Yeah.
off because you can do it yourself. It's much
Yeah.
easier if you've got somebody to
Yeah.
back the corner.
And I remember when we started talking, because you'd obviously launched freelance under your own brand, hadn't you?
Hmm.
And that kind of move from Hawkwood, as it was, to Active was, it was kind of like a big decision to cut that, the view of building a brand for yourself and all those kind of things. But I think, yeah, what was the turning point when you decided that that was okay?
I think I think probably I hadn't really built the brand of Hawkwood as such. It was when I left corporate, I knew that I wanted to do something myself, but I wasn't entirely sure what to do. And I wanted to showcase, I guess, to myself that I could do this myself. So I think the turning point for me was actually the structure that Active gave to me around building price lists, building awareness, being part of a wider team, but without actually having to do all of the work around PAYE, and having the specialists of that the team that you've got in head office is that I guess when I first started, I wanted to try and do everything myself, but now understanding that actually having specialists behind me and not just freelance specialists, because I think that's the way that I started to scale, was having a bunch of freelancers who were very skilled at what they do, but they don't necessarily have the same priorities as I had. And the structure was very different. So I think the biggest thing for me was the structure part.
Yeah.
And you guys having built all of that initially so that I didn't have to.
Mhm.
And I could just utilize and share on the resource that was there.
Yeah.
And I think also, I mean, Caitlin's on, you'll hear from Caitlin later, but Caitlin understands my business and the rest of the team understand my business. So it's not just the fact that you support with some of the tactical elements of the marketing mix. It's much more about understanding me and how I work as well.
hmm Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So moving on to the theme of give to gain for International Women's Day, we just thought it'd be nice to kind of talk about someone in your career, in your, life, and where you are today that has kind of been generous or given you support and has changed something for you.
Yeah, I think that there's one person, well, actually, there's two people that stand out, but there's one person, and I did a podcast a little while ago, and it kind of made me think of this question when we were prepping for this. But there's a lady who, I mean, I wasn't always a marketer, right? So I had somebody who, in fact, I was an exec assistant for 6 years. And she sat me around the table and said, I don't think you really want to be my exec assistant for the rest of your life, Lou. You've got more to share with the world. So, lady called Trudy Norris Gray, she was again theming with International Women's Week. She was the only woman on a board of men for a global software company. So I automatically gravitated towards her anyway. But she was a huge inspiration. She sat around and said, right, you can either go into marketing or HR with your skill set. We did a full kind of analysis, personality analysis, and I thought, I don't really want to work in HR because I don't really want to have to do the horrible bits of HR. Um, so she put me through night school to and supported me with that, to do my marketing diploma and kind of get the background of that. And then I was allowed to shadow the marketing team there
Mhm.
as well. And she still remains this was 20 odd years ago now. So she still remains a huge inspiration to me. She still sends me and my husband Christmas cards and birthday cards and things. And I think it was a real eye opener to what leadership could actually means, I think,
Mhm.
more than anything. Um,
Yeah.
so, that was great from understanding what relationships can do. And I think, and I don't want to big you up this much, but I think one of the other turning points was meeting you as well to understand that
I
actually,
haven't paid you to
no,
say that on the
and
no.
this isn't planted, but it was a big turning point because I didn't know if I could do it myself, having spent majority of my career in a corporate environment where you're one of many, and
Yeah.
now all of a sudden you're on your own. So yeah, you have been a massive support for the last 2 years and continue to be. So two, I guess,
Oh, that no, that's
turning
that's
points.
amazing. And it's for me that's amazing to hear, obviously. And it's about, everyone kind of being stronger together. Yes, we want to be self-employed and we want to run our own gig, but the strength of people, women together, the men in our network as well, but the strength of people together that everybody is learning from everyone. I'm learning from franchisees are learning from each other. It is really about that continual growth and and giving back to others and you give what you reap what you sow kind of thing. So
Mm.
and I'm sure there's lots of people that would say the same thing about you, Lou. So amazing. So, yeah, what have you got going on at the moment in your business? What's it look like? Can she hear me?
Um,
You're
I think it
frozen.
looks very
Oh
different
no.
to when I first started. I thought when I had oh, have I? Am I back?
No, you're fine. I think you're fine. Keep going.
I'm fine. Okay, I'll keep going. So yeah, I think it looks very different when I got given a kind of a kit bag of, right, now you can do everything you're saying. So, like you said, the full marketing in a box. I was like a kid in a sweet store, so you just go out and try and sell everything. But I kind of swiftly learned that actually that's not how I work, and it isn't how I should be working. So at the moment, so since January this year, I've kind of revamped my own website and in alignment, obviously, with everybody else. But the things I'm focusing on much more around partnerships and not just partnerships with the clients, because I think that's really important that it's not just a tactically led engagement. It's much more around partnerships and relationships, but also, as I think most of you know, that I go to pretty much every networking event and try and get myself out there as much as possible. But that's also opened up doors to be working much closer with kind of business consultants and sales consultants, photographers, videographers, anyone
Yeah,
who is working with businesses to grow their business. So that's kind of where I'm spending a lot of my time at the moment, is how can we go in as a team to a business to help support and kind of build that stronger ecosystem, I guess, of support.
yeah,
So that's where I'm focusing my effort at the moment, is
mm,
partnerships and mentoring and kind of understanding the business
yeah,
much, much wider, I guess, that I'm
yeah.
working with, the clients that I'm working with.
And it brings in lots of interesting opportunities, like the clients that I've seen you working with recently. It's, like you say, it's niching down on what you want to work with,
Hmm.
and also making sure that, you're charging enough for your time and it all kind of works as one thing, doesn't it? But yeah, it's really kind of molding the services and the offerings around your strengths so that you work with the clients in the best way. Um,
Mm.
but it's lovely to see lots of new and exciting clients coming in for
Yeah.
you. Yeah, so we are going to be wrapping up your little session. I'm on time, Caitlin. Um, but yeah, before you go, Lou,
Yeah.
advice to your 18-year-old self. What would you give her?
I guess I think one of the biggest things is that relationships matter more than you think. I think I was chatting to my stepdaughter recently, and she looks at job titles, and I think success isn't just about a job title or a bank balance. It's much more about the impact that you give. So I think, so yeah, relationships matter. I think also in the world of AI that we're now living in, that human touch and engagement is much more important. So
Yeah,
yeah, continue to build relationships with real people.
brilliant. Love it. Love it. And you do a cracking job at that, Lou. So,
Thank you.
yeah, great. Thank you, Lou. Right, we are going to now chat with Sean. So, Sean and I go back 10 years, maybe, not sure.
Yeah,
Um,
like that.
when I first started my business, I was working freelance and came back into the business where you were working and we worked together a bit. So it's lovely that now, all these years later, you've joined Active and we're working together. So, yeah, introduce yourself and tell us a bit about you.
Thanks for the introduction, Katie. So yeah, I'm Sean Price. I'm based in Bridgend. I've always lived in Bridgend. I set up I Need Marketing about 6 years ago now. And before that, I worked in corporate marketing for about 10 years, which is where I met yourself, Katie. I worked in various different roles from, well, industries, from renewable energy to medical devices to FMCG, and all in different roles from marketing assistant, coordinator, exec to manager. The list is endless. Before that, though, I did my degree. I graduated in 2009, which accidentally wasn't in marketing. I wasn't planning to go into marketing. My degree was in motion and graphics, but I really value that degree. Like it's really important to what I do now. Like I've got a really good understanding of how websites are built. I've got a really good understanding of photography, videography. I did the lot, but I came out of there. Like we went on trips, and I remember filming on location in Paris, and that was really cool. And so I loved the degree itself, but I came out of there not feeling like what avenue I wanted to go down. I didn't
Mhm.
know. I was like, do I want to go into web development? I didn't know enough about each avenue because it was kind of like touched upon. So I worked in a coffee shop for a year after that actually. Because
Great for your people skills.
yeah, it was like it was one of those things because when it's drilled into you that you do a degree and you're going to go into a job, you know, a really good corporate job, and then you look at all these jobs and you apply for them
Mm.
and you apply for lots of jobs because
Yeah,
it's not easy. And then an opportunity came up where I fell into marketing and I was
yeah,
like, actually, I really like this
yeah,
because I'm the type of person that if I went down one avenue, I would probably get bored of
mm,
it. So to
yeah.
do the wider area of marketing, I loved
Mm.
it, and I was like, yes, that's where I'm going to be.
Yeah.
So
The
yeah,
similar happened to me actually when I kind of fell into my first marketing job after I miserably left the Lidl graduate scheme after hating it. But I think it's for marketing, like you say, you can work with such a variety of clients, different tactical elements, different like strategic approaches. And I think it's always kept me interested when you're working with such a wide variety of disciplines and clients and people and markets. And so I think for anyone who's got that flair and I think with marketing, you just get it. If you get it,
yeah,
you get it. And you've got the skills to build around it. So, fab.
I agree.
So yeah, so the last 6 years freelance for you, how's that been?
Interesting. So when I set up the business, it was very much I had my daughter and I just wanted to be flexible around her. I wanted a work-life balance, but now I realize that doesn't exist when you run a business. So until I joined Active. Uh, so I was out of the house 10 hours a day working in a corporate job, and I just thought, no, I've got to do something here to be more flexible around her. And I set up the business, was really excited, and then we went straight into lockdown, and that was probably a bit crushing. Thinking, I'm not really sure if this is going to work now. It's difficult enough setting up a business, getting yourself out there, but to do it from your own home when you're not really going to meet many people,
Hmm.
that's probably was the biggest challenge initially.
Mm,
But as it happens, there was a lot of businesses at that time who had to rewire their business model and how
mm,
they worked, and they had to work around new systems in lockdown. So there were
yeah,
opportunities out there, thankfully. So
yeah,
it wasn't one of those, I better go and get another job.
yeah, 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 exactly. And I think one of the when you say there, I have never until I joined Active, we were at an event last week, weren't we? And you turned around and said to me, my husband can't believe that since I've joined Active, I'm not working every night.
Yeah,
And
we've done a role reversal because he's a lecturer,
yeah.
he's marking every night, and I'm just sat there enjoying my time.
And it's brilliant. And
Yeah,
that's not to say there'll never be time when you have to do
yeah,
things, juggling kids and work, regardless of what you do, there is going to be time where, but that was another thing for me that meant so much just to think this has allowed that to happen.
yeah,
And
definitely.
yeah, yeah. So looking at the theme again, so along your career path, who has kind of made a difference to you in terms of like what they've given, generosity, advice, all those kind of things?
I'd probably say it was my best friend. She, as always, I'm quite passionate about um, being around people who aspire you. I think it's really important that you be with people who are like-minded and who
Mhm.
aspire you to kind of push you to be your best. And she did that. Like when we were doing our degrees, she was actually doing a degree in biomedical science. And I thought, wow, she's going to be some sort of scientist. But she decided to leave her degree and go work in her friend's coffee shop, her parents' coffee shop, sorry. And I thought, that's really brave. And she was like,
Mm,
yeah, I want to work in the hospitality sector. And I thought, okay, that's completely different to science. But she went for it. That was her dream, and she went for it. And since then, she set up her own business, and she is thriving now. And she was very encouraging to me at the time when she was watching me go through my various corporate roles and
mm,
struggling and find not having that flexibility. And she just always seemed to say the right thing. And she's quite a level-headed person. And I always just looked
mm,
up to her. And I thought, do you know what? You're right. She kept
mm,
saying to build my own future, build my own path. Don't wait for somebody else to do it.
mm.
Be your own boss. And I just thought, yeah, I'm going to do that. And I listened to it. And she was really helpful. And as it happens, she ended up being my first client, and she's still my client today.
Oh, that's lovely. And do you know
Yeah.
what? I think it is. I've been self-employed now for 13 years, I think it is. And it is sometimes really hard for friends and family to actually understand why you're doing what you're doing if they're not running a business themselves or if they're not self-employed, and the times that they see you and something's going on or whatever. And so I think to have someone within your personal network that really gets it and is really supporting you, that's it's lovely to have, isn't it? That's brilliant.
It's really important because, like you said, people don't understand it as much as people support you and they ask, "Oh, how's work?" But they don't understand it. It's not like
Yeah,
a job where you just get to switch off at the end of the day.
yeah,
It's forever.
yeah, I know. So it's lovely to have that support out of work as well as within the community of work, for example, like we have, kind of thing. So
Yeah, yeah,
Um, amazing. So, let's have a look. What are we going to talk about now? What was the turning point, would you say, in terms of joining Active? Because it's been quite recent.
yeah.
And like I said about the comment you made about not working evenings and all those kind of things, what was the point when you thought, "Do you know what? This business is going a certain way, and how does Active align with where you see your self-employed business going?"
Yeah, well, you're probably going to laugh at this because it was that project that I did last summer.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think Katie, you approached me about a year and a half ago to join Active, and at the time I was a bit like, I'm not sure, I don't know, and I always had an element of letting go of control. I didn't like that because I was really proud of what I'd built so far, and if anything went wrong, I only had myself to blame. So if I relied on other people and things went wrong, I'd be like besides myself. So I was very much in the thought process that no, I can do this by myself. I don't need any help. And then last summer, this project came in where I had to write, I don't know, 70 pages of content for a motor company. And it was a brilliant opportunity. And I loved it. And I thought, yeah, you know what, I can do this. It'll be fine. And then I don't think I saw anybody all summer. And I just didn't have a life. I was besides myself. I was counting pages in my sleep. And I realized then that I did need help. And then more work came in from that same project, which I then brought you guys in, which was just, it felt amazing because it meant that I could rely on you guys to help me with this project. And I wasn't doing every single thing. I actually was able to step back and work on the business rather than
Mhm.
working in the business all the time.
Yeah.
And that was the turning point for me. I just thought this is the only way I'm going to grow. I'm going to scale if I want to scale this business without
Yeah.
having to hire staff or rely on freelancers. I feel like I'm part of a team again, which I have missed it. I love being self-employed, but I do feel like I've missed being part of a team as well. And
Yeah.
the fact that I can rely on you guys, it just makes sense. And like I
Yeah.
said, I've got more clients now, but I've got more time to myself. I don't know how that
Yeah.
works.
So that's the point. So yeah, I mean, with that client, and I hate that you kind of like learned the hard way in a
I did.
way,
I did
because
learn
we'd been
hard way.
having these conversations as the client came in. I said, well, we can sort that. It's fine. We can just deal with that. And you still make money on the client. It's still your
Yeah.
client. The contract's with you. But at the time you said, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going on my cruise in November, and I want to get like,
But
and
the thought
and
I
like,
thought was because it was copyrighted, which is what I've done so much of it. I thought, well, that's something I can do anyway. So I'd rather use the franchise for other areas that are not my expertise. But as it happens, the volume of it was just too much and it was too overwhelming and it just consumed me.
yeah. And yeah, so I remember speaking to you afterwards. I was like, just we can just sort the rest out. So I think you got the project like 80%, didn't you? And then was like, oh, but
Yeah.
no, I'm glad that happened because here you are today.
Yeah, I'm glad it happened too. It just reassured me that I've made the right choice.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, what kind of clients are you kind of working with at the moment? What kind of client?
Well, that's the thing. Since joining Active officially, obviously I've rebranded slightly and I've got a new website. I just feel like I look more like a company rather than a single freelancer.
Mhm.
But I feel like I've had more exposure. I'm getting inquiries in from bigger organizations, which I never thought I'd get. And yeah, it's looking different. I've got the franchise working on multiple projects now, which happened quicker than I thought. My concern was, what if I don't get the clients in? But all of a sudden, it's just kind of fallen into place.
Yeah,
I've get,
brilliant.
and like I said, we talked about the variety of industries. Like some people like to niche in an industry, but in all honesty, I would get bored working in one industry.
Hmm.
Like I'm working with like my friend, she's a chocolate manufacturer, so that's one. And then I go from that to working for a flooring company, either a wood flooring company or an external floor company or a glass manufacturer. I'm working with different people all the time, and that's what I love. It's just
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So just to finish up before we move on to Laura, advice to your 18-year-old self.
So I'm the type of person who will be everybody's cheerleader. I will be there supporting them, encouraging them, pushing them to be their best. But I just could never do it for myself. I always felt like I was full of self-doubt, full of imposter syndrome. I just wish that I had the confidence to be able to go, yeah, I can do that. Just do it. Like, so I would literally tell her any opportunity that comes up, you grab it with both hands. Even if you don't know how to do it, figure it out later. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Nobody's going to
Yeah,
die.
brilliant. Love it. Love it. Thank you, Sean. It's
Thank you,
great to
Katie.
have you here.
Thank you.
Um, okay, cool. So we are, thank you. There's loads of people here. I hope everybody is enjoying. We have a couple of questions already come in, so we'll come back to those at the end. But now we move on to Laura. Welcome, Laura.
Hello,
Um,
thank you.
and a big thank you for being part of today because you only joined us, I think it was it the 3rd of Feb or the 4th of Feb, something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
And like I said, your website, and we haven't actually done the launch of your business yet. That's happening later this week. But we've been working together behind the scenes, and yeah, so tell us a bit about you.
yeah. So I'm Laura. I'm based in Sheffield, just on the edge of the Peak District. And yeah, as you just said, I'm very new to the network. And so just launching at the moment. I've been freelancing for the last sort of 4 or 5 years. Mostly working within the fitness, health, dance, physiotherapy, Pilates studios, that kind of industry. And prior to that, it's quite similar actually to something Sean said, because I feel that I moved into marketing and I didn't expect to do marketing basically when I left school. Um, it just wasn't something that I considered. And I actually went, I did a degree and trained in dance, which is obviously might feel like it's a completely different beast to marketing, but actually it led me here to what I'm doing now. So super grateful for doing that. I've done a marketing assistant role, marketing exec role, and then yeah, now I'm doing it freelance as well.
Fab. And yeah, for you, obviously you joined because um, the support and systems around you, etc. But I think for your business, what point were you at that you thought I actually need this that structure and systems?
Yeah, I think working with clients, there's just a, I love it, but there's just a capacity that you get to, you kind of, and I think I felt that I was reaching that wall and I needed that support of other people. So I think that was a huge element of it. And also feeling because it's a great place to be when you love your work, but that doesn't mean that it's not sometimes quite lonely
Hmm.
as a freelancer when you're doing it alone. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who can relate to that, to be honest, doing freelancing work. So yeah, having the support of others, not just from a work perspective, but also just being able to lean on other people when you've got any questions and just,
Hmm.
yeah, knowing that there's other people there that back you 100%.
Yeah, brill. And yeah, you're only getting started because obviously, we have the webinars twice a month that, in the community space that there's loads going on and, there's events or various things throughout the year. So, yeah, there's loads to come for you. So that's brilliant. And I can't wait to see where you go when you get stuck in properly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so going to the theme of give to gain, yeah, who has shaped something in your past or given something that's really helped you?
Yeah. So I think there's kind of a couple of cases that I kind of want to make reference to. It's not necessarily one person, but a kind of a group of people. So I think looking all the way further back to when I was leaving school, it was the very much the belief that my parents had in me at the time, um, and the support that they gave me to follow a path that maybe wasn't the traditional academic route that a lot of people were, I guess, there was a bit of a cloud, I think, over that period of time where the expectation was to go a certain way, and
Mhm.
whatever you do, that's what you have to do for the rest of your life. It was that
Yeah.
pressure of, oh gosh, you're like, I need to choose a career and that's it. I'm going to be stuck in that forever. It was that, yeah, that big pressure that was on me at the time.
Mhm.
But I think in the end, to have that support from people who were really close to me to go down the maybe less, I want to say less celebrated route. I am saying that in inverted commas, but I think from the societal norms that were surrounding
Mhm.
me at the time.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, to go down that route of choosing dance, because that opened up doors for me that I didn't expect it would. So, for example, when I was going through that 3-year course, yes, I thought I was going to go and do performance and teaching dance, which I do now.
Mhm.
But actually, there was a module within that course where we learned how to market ourselves. We learned how to build a basic website. We learned how to, create YouTube channels and make music on a digital platform. I didn't do that very well, but I enjoyed it. And writing, I realized how much I loved writing. Started a blog. So it kind of, I think it was that unexpected door that I didn't think was going to be part of it,
Yeah.
I found something that I enjoyed doing in a digital space. Um, and then, yeah, I think coming out of university, starting teaching dance and finding marketing work within that industry as well. So for dance fitness business, a dance fitness
Mhm.
franchise, that really combined those passions together, which then, sort of long story short, then opened the door to me then doing my master's degree in marketing and
Mhm.
management, which then led me into my freelance work, working with that industry that I'm so passionate about. And I do feel that if I hadn't have had that support and that guidance back then, which I think is massive at that age of 18, um, to do what I genuinely loved at the time, not what I
Mhm.
felt the pressure to do,
Mhm.
um, that was massive for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, in terms of opening those doors. And then
Mhm.
I think more recently as a second point, um, so working with the franchises I have in the dance fitness world for the last sort of decade, seeing the franchisees that come into that network and being surrounded by that real positive community,
Mhm.
and seeing the impact that it has on their lives, the
Mhm.
support that they have, I thought, wow, this is really opening my eyes there. I never thought about it for me, but seeing that support for each other,
Yeah.
it was big for me. And then going to and encouraging women into franchising regional meeting, I think it was
Mhm.
last year or the year before. Um, and again, they won't have realised it, and I didn't even really realise it at the time, but that belief and support that they had for everyone in the room, myself included. I wasn't a franchisee, I wasn't a franchisor, I was going, as a guest at the time. But the support for everybody in the room, whether they were an employee or a franchisee, franchisor, whoever it was,
Yeah.
yeah, it was really quite inspiring. And then that, again, like I say, didn't know it was for me at the time, didn't consider it. And then I found Active and I went, oh, hang on a second. This
There's
sounds
a
like,
franchise for
yeah, there's
marketing.
a franchise for me. And yeah, it just really appealed to me. So yeah.
Yeah. No, it's brilliant. And you kind of found us because you were part of the franchise industry for your freelance work. So yeah, it was a lovely kind of rounded loop back in to find that community that can help you. And
Mm,
yeah, EWIF as an organization, they're really supportive and we get
yeah.
involved with those as well. But yeah, I think going back to your parents, as someone who's got children now myself, I always say if someone is doing something that they love, that's all you want for your kids, and that's all you want. I think people just do so much better when you are enjoying what you do and you can follow your path. I think it's so important. So yeah. So how have the last 4 weeks been for you?
Well, I've loved it. I've really enjoyed coming down to Cardiff and meeting everybody at head office. That was so, I honestly just felt so at home when I came down there.
Ah,
Um, yeah, just sort of integrating into the franchise community. And learning a lot, working my way through all the resources that are provided. And yeah, it's been a good 4 weeks. Yeah.
Good. Good. Well, you've just seemed like you've taken it all in your stride. It's been smooth, hopefully.
So far,
Um,
so good. Yeah.
yeah. So good. Um, so yeah, the advice to your 18-year-old self, and maybe you've kind of covered it, but before we move on to Caitlin, yeah, what advice would you give your younger self?
I think it would definitely be to trust your instincts and don't give in to that external pressure. Do what you're passionate about, do what really genuinely lights you up in that moment. Don't overthink 10 years down the line, because you just don't know what that passion's going to open the door to in the future.
Yeah, fab. Love it. That's brilliant. Thank you. It's lovely to have you as part of Active and for coming today. So thank you so much. Right, Caitlin Chapman. Now, Caitlin's employed
Hello.
by me, so she had no choice whether she came today.
Oh, no, I'm happy to be here.
Oh, no, I know. So yes, welcome, Caitlin. You have, well, we met nearly 2 years ago and you've been at head
Nearly
office
two
ever
years, yeah.
since. So yeah, introduce yourself and let us know all about you.
So, I'm Caitlin. I am the marketing executive. I started off as a junior here, and then I think after almost a year, maybe 9 months or so, went into the marketing executive. So that was really nice. I'm Cardiff based, born and bred, been here my whole life. And I also did my both of my degrees here. So I did my undergrad and my master's here in marketing. But just like most of the other franchisees, I didn't start off uni doing marketing. I did sport media for 2 years before changing into doing marketing because I felt like sport media just wasn't for me anymore. But yeah, ended up with a first and a master's, so can't complain there.
Woo!
um, but yeah, that's me.
Fab, fab. So yeah, tell us about you outside of work. What, you're never in one place for very long, are you?
No, I'm never in one place for very long. Probably a key thing is I host a pub quiz to an average of 180 people now every Tuesday. Um, that is Tuesdays are busy, but I do enjoy it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably a big thing of my outside of work. But
Yeah.
also like a run. I mean, you can't work at Active without enjoying a good run every now and
Oh, I
then,
don't
can
know.
you? um, the topic of conversation most days.
Oh,
But yeah, no, that's yeah. I'm just
good.
never in one place. I love a bit of live
No,
music,
love it.
so
Nothing would surprise me going off here now. So yeah, tell me somebody along your path that has given you great advice or been generous with their time or what's changed something for you? Who?
I definitely got to start with my mum. She's always been like by my side through everything. And she's never, told me something was a stupid idea. She's just been like, yeah, go for it. But a big one for me is definitely our head of tech, Tom. I possibly might not be with Active if it wasn't for Tom. So I've known Tom since I was like 13. And he saw that I'd graduated with a first. And he messaged me on LinkedIn and was like, oh, we're hiring. And the next day, I was sat across from you in our old office getting an interview. So that was really nice. And I was worried, as Sean said obviously earlier, it is hard once you leave uni to find something in your field. And I've been looking and looking and looking, and I was like, can't find anything. So yeah, got a lot of time for Tom after he was very generous and gave me that message that day.
Yeah, and it all worked out. I think we interviewed about 12 people at the time, and
Mm.
here you are today.
Here I am today, and he gave me the job offer on my birthday,
Oh
so
yeah,
I was
yeah.
very grateful for that.
Oh, so yeah, tell me a little bit about your relationship with franchisees and how you support them and what that looks like.
So every relationship with every single franchisee is different. Every single franchisee's got a range of clients. So I do enjoy that every single conversation I'm having is like completely different to the one I previously had 10 minutes ago or whatever. But I've definitely got like some very good relationships. I mean, me and Lou sit on the phone for hours and chat about, all of the clients, and obviously I do her social media as well. So yeah, it's been nice getting to know all of the like franchisees, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it is just good because we've got such a nice network. Um, and it's quite nice helping just such a range of people.
Yeah.
And before coming here, I didn't even know what a franchise was.
Mm.
So I've learned so much, and now,
Yeah, I know.
yeah,
So being new to the franchise industry, and I
yeah,
fell upon it when I was
hmm
searching online for a solution, and a lot of people I speak to fall into the
hmm
franchise industry somehow, and it does have this way of hooking you in, and people stay within that industry for a long time. So
yeah.
for you, what's your kind of, as a marketer and as someone who, has studied marketing within uni and everything else, yeah, what's your kind of view of the franchise industry and how it supports people running businesses?
I definitely think a lot more people need to know about franchising, and I don't think enough people do know about franchising.
Mm,
Um, I mean, you can have your business, but you get all the support with it, and there's never like any question too stupid, or like we're always here to support the franchisees, and that's like wild that I think so many people don't know about it.
mm,
And it is the solution to a lot of people. So I think, yeah,
yeah,
I think it's such a good thing.
yeah, I know. I agree. So we've got, yeah, we're okay for time. So
Mhm.
looking back to your 18-year-old self, what would you say to her and why?
Um, I definitely say don't do sport media as an undergrad degree. Um, just go straight into marketing. But another thing is like not to be afraid of being one, the youngest person in the room, um, and two, just like I feel like I had a lot of imposter syndrome as 18-year-old onwards, really, and I feel like I need to have a bit more confidence in myself because I do know what I'm talking about sometimes.
A lot of the
so
time.
so I think I need to back myself a bit more, and that is one thing that I'd go back and tell my 18-year-old self definitely. But yeah, because I turned 18 in lockdown, so which is crazy. But I think I definitely would tell myself to just go out there and do anything you want, really.
Love it. Love it. Thank you, Caitlin.
That's right.
Right, let's have a little look if we have some questions, which we do. Right, let's move these down here. So I don't know if everyone wants to kind of come off mute, and whoever wants to answer can answer. So the first one is, if you were to start your marketing business today, where would you start from? Any takers on that? Or I can answer it. Lou, having been there recently?
Um,
Oh, she's
I
frozen.
think it's to kind of follow up on what I think everybody said in the panel is to just do it. Just start with something that you're passionate about. Start with the network of people that you have around you, and um, use the knowledge that you have. But I think also one of the other things is always learning. I think from a marketing perspective, there is always learning that you can do. There are so many different disciplines. I think Sean mentioned that there is so much out there that if you don't if you don't fit in one category, you can learn something new. So
Mm.
I'd start with something that you're passionate about, and utilize the network of people that you've got to support you. I think that's what I would
Yeah,
recommend.
I was
yeah.
just going to say be open-minded to accepting help as well. Like
Mm,
you can't do
Yeah.
it all. Just be open-minded to anything that comes your way, really.
mm. Yeah, I think for me, I would say really understand your pricing, your like processes and how you're going to onboard these clients. And I think there's a real risk initially of, over like giving too much in and not charging for it, which, when you're starting out and you actually don't have a client base, there's an element of, getting case studies and testimonials and all those kind of things. But you've really got to protect your time. You've really got to value your time. And I think it's learning that the clients that really value that, they're going to be your long-term clients that you want to work with. Certain clients will take, if they think they can get a freebie out of you. And I think knowing what you need to charge is really important, and also backing up with contracts and, looking at building that reoccurring income, so you're not just getting stuck with waiting for people to pay for one project that you're working on. And looking at those revenue streams, charging the right amount is how you start to build something robust. So hopefully that is helpful between all of those answers. Anyone else got anything else on that one? No? Okay. I I was wondering to know, how have you ever felt that being a woman shaped your experience in business, either positively or negatively? Anyone? I would say, I suppose because we work in marketing, it's very common for women to work in marketing. And so I don't feel like there's been as much pushback as maybe a woman working in finance, for example, or something like that. Equally, I don't think I'm really someone that would ever take much notice if anyone didn't listen to me because I was a woman. Um, but I think I quite like it in some ways when you go to a franchise event, for example, and there's a lot of people who are men and they're franchisors, and they're actually a bit taken aback when you say, "Yes, I'm a franchisor," and so I just think you've got to have that self-confidence in yourself, as a woman. And for me, I love working with men, I love working with women, and I just feel like everyone should be on an even playing field. It's not about women being better than men, and it's just about people being valued for what they bring to the table. So for me, I think I feel quite lucky that I've always had that belief inside somewhere that I can do it. But I do think it helps being in marketing. Um, yeah, anybody else?
I can say something, I guess, because I worked 20 odd years in IT, which
Hmm.
has traditionally, well, probably still is, I think we're still fighting that corner, traditionally male oriented. I think whether you take this positively or negatively, I don't know, but I think it made me try harder.
Mm.
When you're sat around a boardroom table and you're presenting as a marketeer how to grow the business, and you've got a team of salespeople who used to call me glitter and glue Lou for a little while until they learned exactly what marketing was. So I think um, it's been challenging, but I think from a positive perspective, it's actually made me try harder, which has enabled me to be able to get to the point where I am now. And all of those people that I have worked with appreciate what I do now, and probably did appreciate what I did then. But yeah, I think it did make me try harder for sure.
Yeah.
I
And I
agree with
think,
that.
yeah, I think that's where people around you are so important to cheer you on when you're doing that
Mhm.
as well, isn't it? So,
I think you do kind of feel like you've got a bit of a point to prove, haven't you? You've got something to prove that you're of some value. But I also do think that the landscape in that is changing now. I think there are so many more women in business now. So
mm,
many more.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to prove anything.
yeah. And there are some great role models out there, aren't they, of women. The event we were at last week, Sean, listening to some of the speakers in the panel of these women that have, you know, huge brands and huge businesses. And it's, the generation coming, my children and there's a different mindset that they're born into, that just every generation that comes through, it just